9. Uh,
Patty,
yes.
good morning.
Good morning.
How was your visit to the State House this week?
Ooh, fast and furious.
I'll
Oh my
bet.
goodness. Got everything done.
Good.
So yeah, loading up for next week. I went through all the meetings and I know they're going to add a zillion more today. I was like, OMG. A
Yes.
lot.
Now they won't meet on Monday, will they? It's a
No, it's
national
it's a holiday.
holiday. Okay. So
I'll be
back
coming
Tuesday.
back into town. Yeah, how was your time at the State House?
It was very exciting. We
Good.
did a conference down in the first floor, a press conference. I was just a figure in the background.
Uh-huh.
But I'll tell you what, they had the heavy hitters at that press conference. This was on restricting or curbing the regulatory atmosphere in the state of South Carolina against small businesses. They're trying to
Mm-hmm.
reduce the amount of regulatory burden that small businesses have to endure to operate in the state of South Carolina. And
Uh-huh.
they had the speaker there, they had the Senate leader, they had Tom Davis, they had um, a small business owner speak, and anyway, that was
That's
down the
good.
first. I did attend a um, one committee meeting. It lasted about 20 minutes. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, um, let me let me mute here a second, and I'll be right back.
Okay. Wow. Where'd George go? Wow. That RJ
Sorry, I'm
May
taking a
sentenced
call
to,
for a quick get
uh,
somebody on the call. I'll be right there.
okay. 17 and a half years federal. I think. Wow. Jeez.
What did you say, Patricia?
That RJ May from, I guess, West Columbia, he was sentenced to 17 and a half years in federal prison. 5 counts of distributing child pornography. My goodness. Hmm.
Regular G. All right.
Okay. Do you want me to just
Hey,
go? I'm not sure
yeah,
what you're doing.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry about this. And anyway, take it away. You're on board.
Okay. All right. A pretty muted week. And I go from Friday to yesterday, looking at the charts. So we are up. Um, if you take in Friday's consideration, I think if you just started from Monday, we would be considered down. But the Dow is only up 0.25%, 124 points. So it's remaining above 49,000, which is remarkable. 49,606. The S&P is up 0.42%. It only gained 29.25 points. It hasn't reached 7,000 yet, but it's at 6991.50. That was about 8 o'clock this morning. Nasdaq, and we were up. Let me just see what it was generally. Yeah, it's up today. The Nasdaq was only up 0.14%, 33.81 points. It's remaining above 23,000, so it's 23,503. The Russell 2000, the small caps did the best. It was up 2.5% over the last 5 days. So it's above the 2,500 mark. It's been volleying around there. So 2,692 points this morning. Gold and silver still doing good. Gold is 0.53% over the past 5 days. This morning it was 46.02, but it looked like gold and silver were down this morning. Yikes. Let's see. Oh, they're trying to recover. Good. Okay, so gold is at 4602.8, silver over the past 5 days up 6.26%. So that's a lot. It did.
Silver about $90 an ounce.
Well, let's see. I was sitting in a meeting and not paying attention. I was looking at the silver futures. It was 92.67. Was that Wednesday morning? But it came back down. So it was at 88.67 this morning, and it is down $2.40, or at least that's the ETF. So it is down, but I imagine it will recover and stay above $80. The dollar has strengthened. It's gained $1 since last week. So its peak was 5 days ago. No, 1 month ago. And so in 1 month, it's up over 1%. In the last 5 days, 0.35%, but it's hanging around 99.257. Remember, we were staying at 98. The 10-year is flat, 4.195. And WTI crude, it's $59.81 this morning, but on, I think Tuesday, it was Tuesday the 14th? No, Wednesday, it hit $62. And with the Iranian conflict, it doesn't look like it's calmed down, but the news was saying it has calmed down. And so the market, it dropped back down $3 to $59. The biggest news I could find during the week that impacted stocks was the DOJ probe into Jay Powell and his handling of that office building expansion. I think they're claiming that he fibbed while he was testifying. And I don't know if you remember, I asked Aaron the question about the MSCI board meeting, and that was supposed to happen on Thursday, but I saw news on Tuesday that or Wednesday, it was delayed. So the decision to remove any company that holds more than 50% digital currencies on its books was delayed, at least by a month. So they may take it up in February, but that did help strategy and Bitcoin.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I got.
I'll go back to the silver. Last week, Daniel had mentioned that we might be able to get some actual silver ingots or pieces here in Colombia. And I'm going to sort of put out an email if anybody wants to maybe participate in that. We can get a little deeper into that. So an opportunity to take a look at that silver moving forward. So that's all I got. Aaron, you want to take it? And then I'll do the WLFI report real quickly.
Yeah. Hey, good morning. I don't have too much to add this morning. As far as like macro with Bitcoin, you did see some positive kind of sideways movement, restored some volume on chain, especially in Solana. There's been a bunch of volume, kind of with a resurgence of this maybe AI season 2, at least in the trenches on Solana. But a lot of volume has returned. Some of that optimism has surfaced a little bit, which is good, I think, overall. The big thing that I was watching was Brian Armstrong, I think it was yesterday, withdrawing his support for the Clarity Act that that's gotten pushed out there for review. And I think he was quoted as saying, "We'd rather have no bill than a bad bill." And some of the things he was talking about and that it's limiting is the rewards and yield on stable coins. Um, the kind of limiting the RWA, the real world asset, kind of movements forward, where it would kind of have some strict oversight along with DeFi as well, where still mentioning that KYC, know your customer, or those money laundering laws, um, where it would be almost impossible if you have thousands of people committing to a liquidity pool to know all their information. So a lot of concerns there. Um, and then still that oversight, either it's from the SEC, and so there was a lot of issues with the, I guess, Prospective Clarity Act, which I would agree with as well, from a DeFi perspective, and what that would kind of limit or constrain some of what DeFi is meant to be. But as far as kind of what the future holds, I really don't know. I'm not, in the charts as much as I was. It's mostly kind of letting the market do its thing, and keeping an eye on gold and silver and copper, and seeing how they all move together, and watching equities as well. So not it pretty uncertain, but I think it is an opportunity to find out in these small pumps if there's anything that shows a lot of strength, or a lot of, not even hype, but just, either holds or doesn't go down as much. Those tokens are, the ones to pay attention to, when a bull market or when a long run comes about. So there's still research, and you can see what the market gives you, but try to find those either strong holders or strong movers or early movers on any type of upswing as well. But that's all I got.
All right. Well, that's fine. Not sure if Dennis has joined us. We're going to bring him on, or at least we'll speak a little bit about his visit to the Consumer Electronics. But I just wanted to briefly touch on the World Liberty Finance Token, or initiative. And we all know that this is involving the Trump family, and they have merged. That well, I take that back. This is the TGM, uh, the technology Trump effort has merged with a fusion energy company called TAE. We've already mentioned this earlier, but did want to let you know that they are searching for a site to develop this fusion energy source. And the site is going to be only in red states, and it's going to be 20 acres. And they are looking for a friendly environment that is close to a grid in a metropolitan area that can provide talent and can provide an environment that is conducive to their project. They don't want to have a lot of pushback from whatever. And so they're looking for that specific criteria to develop this 20-acre site. The interesting thing is, on 20 acres, they're going to be able to put 3 reactors on the property. The first one is going to be a small one, 50 megawatts, which is actually pretty strong, but that's one of their smaller units. That goes on that's one of the projects on this 20 acres. The second one will be a 350 to 500 megawatt reactor. And then the third one is going to be exponentially bigger than that. So it's going to be an interesting site. And I don't know if South Carolina's involved in that selection. I would think they could be a potential site for this to occur. But, I could ask, and everybody would tell me I don't know anything about that. But anyway,
I
so
think we should give them $150 million in tax credits.
Um, all right, let's see if you can find out if we're in the run for that.
Well,
And we'll
that
get
might be,
15 million out of your pocket, and then we'll get, anyway.
Savannah Riverside. Is it going to be private dollars putting that on or
They're just in the
federal?
site selection right now. Uh, I mean,
But who's going to
it's
pay
their
for it?
money, it's their effort. It's TAE is producing this. One of the interesting things about it is they use boron, and this is a fusion reactor, not a fission reactor. I'm just learning the differences, but anyway, they use boron. Boron is very available element, and or yeah, an element would be the best way to put it, but it's not radioactive, and so it's
Huh.
very safe. This particular it creates a huge amount of energy when this particular um, reactor energizes. It creates a great deal of heat, and I think that's one of the issues that they have with this particular methodology. But anyway, it's out there. It we always think that there's a 10 to 15 year timeline that before these things come online. But the way they're developing these small modular reactors is just amazingly um, it's very fast that they're developing these reactors. So let me tell you that they're doing this because China is way ahead of us in the power production market, and so they're really interested in getting this moving. And then um, I see the WLFI. This is not the nuclear or the reactor part. This is the actual real world asset part. Has got a big announcement coming out in February. We don't know what it is, but stay tuned for some big announcement from on real world assets from WLFI. And I will put this out there in terms of the Clarity Act, which we were going to talk about a little bit in a second. I didn't mean to take up this much time, but anyway, um, the Clarity Act, one of the pushbacks is that, the Trumps have this crypto digital asset innovation going on, and some of the particular Elizabeth Warren's wants to push back on that from them being involved and any politician being involved in digital assets or the crypto world. So we'll see how all that goes, but we're going to shake that out in a little bit later when we're talking through the Clarity Act. But I've got Dennis on hold right now and going to talk to us about his visit to Las Vegas and
yeah,
tell us about a couple of things that he found to be interesting at the Consumer Electronics Show. That's
yeah,
what it's
yeah.
called,
Just
right? Consumer Electronics.
CES, right?
Yeah.
Just real quickly, just to backtrack, I just pulled up the press release from TAE, and uh, uh, I just want to make sure that not to combine the two with WLFI and Trump Media Technology Group. It looks like that's the merger
Yes.
with TAE. Yeah, and obviously, I mean, this might be a way to start a conversation with uh, the SC Nexus folks. And George, if you want to talk about that later, that might be a direction. They have the test cell that they're supposed to be a microgrid that they're supposed to be funding for Clemson, and I know Patty had looked into that a little while earlier. We never got any feedback from them that I know of, and that might be, I mean, perhaps that's a fit. But so I'll move on to CES. Just to say, but
No,
yeah, I
that's
mean, if
good.
it, yeah,
Clemson's got some issues they're dealing with that they're probably like, we don't want to be in the news.
yeah, they got quite a bit of issues. There's no question about it. I just submitted an op-ed on their efforts to try to tear down the old vegetable breeding lab on Savannah Highway on the way into Charleston. And their efforts were trying to divorce the people, from the property. Won't go into that detail right now, but to get to CES, yeah, CES really just a mega show. At least 9 different venues with the Las Vegas Convention Center packed, from end to end, and it's a massive facility. 145,000 people attended this year. I think it's in its 20th year. Uh, so really a terrific opportunity to see the broad range of technological innovation. From I mean, and because it is consumer oriented, you're looking at the things that are coming out here very shortly. Obviously, the blockchain area was my interest. I mean, once I finally figured out how to navigate that place, I got really a day's worth of touring. Easily got my 12,000 steps in every day while we were there, but a lot of that was was walking back and forth and even figuring out how to get find the monorail to make it much easier. But the long and the short of it was blockchain was represented. I suspect next year we will see a much broader representation in many areas as digital assets become more integrated with a lot of the as a value added play. Not a lot of agentic AI related focus. I mean, companion robots, a lot of robotics, from boxing robots to companion robots. We found a small little. I posted on the message group of a little robotic modularly built robot dog that can be built and part of an education program. Exploring that, and obviously that would require a grant, to put that together. Looking at that possibly as a summer project that we could do with South Carolina through South Carolina Emerging Tech. Unfortunately, I am. This was really probably the coolest little product I found. It's a little business card size, credit card size device that has 4 AI agents built into it. It's called Meet, MEETT. If you want to, do a quick Google search. But Meet
Yeah.
is a AI business card that allows you to just instantaneously transfer all your social media, all your contacts. It has 4 little AI agents built into it for generative AI videos, some writing tools, an image generator, and it also translates. It records your telephone conversations if you like. It'll translate on the fly. For my particular interest, I've got this little thing going down in El Salvador with the whiskey business, and one of the problems we have obviously is just I am certainly not fluent in Spanish. So I've learned a lot, but not quite there. But so that was really what attracted me. Now the
Yes.
downside of this, yeah,
Yeah, let me just interject something
yeah,
because the aspect that I like about this particular device is that you can set it on the table and you can touch a button and it'll record the conversation at the table, if you
right,
will. And so many times just since Wednesday, I wish I had that device. It would have been great to have it at the table Wednesday,
right,
yesterday for the press conference. It would have been great. You can just touch the button, it's in your pocket. You can touch the
yep,
button, you could hear this whole conversation going on, and then it recaps it for you, I believe. It gives you a
that's
little,
correct.
yeah. So it's it's quite, once you understand it a little bit, it's quite the tool.
It's
Well,
a very
maybe we could.
sophisticated tool. Yeah, no question. And
And I believe that Les, there are others out there. I believe Les has I don't mean to step on your presentation, but I know that there are
no, I
others
mean,
out there.
yeah, the note taker devices are beginning to proliferate, and certainly an aid. I mean, there's another one that I know a colleague of mine has a neck piece that he
Yes.
wears, and he wears it everywhere. So the I mean, the downside is that, like many business cards that you get when you go to shows and such, is when you bring them back and you can't find it. And that is exactly the problem I have right now.
And
I
you
put
can't
this
call it.
somewhere. No, and there's no locator, and it's not like it's got a.
That's right.
It's like,
You
I mean, which is one of my recommendations when I write them to ask them for a new one if I have to replace it, because if I can't find it, I'm just going to go ahead and buy another one. So unfortunately, there was no there was no real data on it yet, except for just my little experimentations. And
it's funny.
so like many business cards, I mean, often you may have to look for it. So
Well, I want to ask you a little bit about the robot that you discovered, and it
yeah,
was I guess it was more a companion robot, but I was thinking in
yeah,
terms of it in a teaching atmosphere or teaching at a tech college or high school
yes,
classes.
yeah, it would
Do
be
you see
considered a
some
companion.
application there?
Absolutely. I mean, it would certainly be considered a companion robot, for personal use or interest. But that's what attracted me to it, was that having something like this, outside of the Lego robotics class, with really is a pretty sophisticated little machine. It's all modular. It's Python based, scripting. It comes pre-programmed, but it could be modified or added features to it. It's got the company that manufactures it, the Chinese company, is very focused on cameras and lenses, with a complete line of children's cameras as well, instant Polaroid type things. Um, but it you know it embeds in it, the cameras there provides facial recognition for up to three people in the frame, heat recognition. So it really, I mean, it's very sophisticated. Got a little grabber on the front, so if you look at the video that we posted, I mean, you can reach down, pick up a ball, drop it from that standpoint, so you can play catch with it. It's got to be a male robot, I suppose, because it also has pre-programmed on the little dashboard for it to lift its leg and pee. So
Oh my
we've
God.
got so you can imagine for a classroom environment like that, just getting rid of it could really, I think, really create a lot of fun as well. So
Funny.
and yeah, so they in bulk, I'm told they're running about $600 a piece. So for a class of 50, that gets a little pricey. So I'm interested in certainly exploring a grant or something along those lines that we can bring it into a school,
But
find a school we want a partnership with.
it is a kit, so you do have to assemble it. Or is it
Yes,
comes out?
yeah,
Okay. All right.
and they have other kits also. I mean, this could be.
Yeah.
He was going to give me a kit, for a little drone, that they just as a sample, but unfortunately, not all the parts were in it. So, we've got. I mean, the bottom line right now, obviously, we have a relationship, and and look to expand it. There's a distributor, an importer on the West Coast that brings these into the country that has a relationship. So we have next steps, obviously, just explore further. The other item that I really enjoyed learning about was HYFIX, their GNSS base station. This item, I don't know whether you can see it very well, but
Yeah.
yeah, this is there's a cryptocurrency associated with it. It's traded on a number of exchanges.
Yes, it
But
is.
this is the world's largest decentralized geospatial reference network, and you mount this on your rooftop at your home, and you become a node in their network, and it communicates with the satellite. You can, I mean, obviously for exact um, uh, 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 geolocations, almost down to just a few centimeters. It's much more exact than Google Earth. So their value model really is selling that data, to other entities that use that data for geolocation positioning.
Oh,
Kind of like
So
agriculture. Well,
yeah,
that's good.
sure, yeah. So I mean, basically, that's a tremendous
Yeah.
application and use case, and one of the 1.8 million cryptocurrencies that have not failed in last year. Yeah, so we have, I mean, certainly is. They're a member of the Blockchain Association. The gentleman that began this has testified on this use case in Congress, and we have again this next new relationship to explore. And this is one of the items that's on my after Christmas list. So I'll be exploring this. Probably, I mean, probably about $700. So it's not an expensive piece of something anybody can do.
Right.
There's he had an associate with him. I believe it's called Rover. I don't have that. I don't have his brochure with me, but they manufacture an item that's about the size of a large silver dollar that fits on top of your car for $200. It'll pay you tokens, just for your regular driving habits. And then, there's
Yes.
another item that's very similar to the Google Earth cameras that you see on the Google cars, but you can position that on your car, and you earn more tokens that way. But
Yeah.
they're mapping roads and highways, in I think
They're also
three continents
tracking
right now.
you. All of these
Yeah, well, they're
devices,
tracking you too. Sure.
they're
Yeah.
gonna know everything
Well, yeah.
about you, your
Well, they already do,
conversations,
Patty.
where you're going.
Yeah, they already
Know that
do.
anyways.
Yeah, they
But
know.
why
I mean,
help people?
well, you might as well get paid for your data versus, just being
Yeah.
monetized for your data. I mean, that's really what it comes down to at this point. So, and there are obviously, some safeguards because, I won't get into that. I haven't researched that, but again, as a crypto project, it really is designed on how we democratize capital, and you get paid for, for participating in the network.
Yeah. Let
So,
me is the name of the company is GODNet, GEODNET. The
uh,
God,
token, the
I've
that's
token
got
is
exactly right. They're acting like a god and they're going to be controlling you.
then and
well,
the symbol is or
I
the
think you
token
just
is
described
GEOD.
Google. Yeah, I've got hi fix.ai, and it directly connects to the GeoNet, and that's GeoDNet.com.
Right.
So I'll scan this and try
That's the
to post
token
it
you
to the.
get. That's the
Uh,
token you get for participating in this
For
uh,
selling your soul.
venture.
yeah,
When the
Patty, I
when
don't
you
know why
put
you're so negative. I mean, you do it
Well,
every
it's so
day.
creepy.
It's called the
creepy.
internet. I mean, you let you do that without pay. That's why you get it for free.
I guess.
I mean, everything we do is collected. I mean, they know everything we do. I mean, there's no email that doesn't go out that that the NSA doesn't scoop up. And I'm sure Les can opine on that further, but certainly that was part of the problem with the Clarity Act. I mean, they're trying to stuff crypto into the same model that we have, for collecting information and KYC. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just,
Mm.
I mean, fortunately, Coinbase did take a stand on that, and I think, it's like I said, it's better to
Well,
have
wait a minute.
no
Let's
bill
define a
That's your
little bit
than no
more,
segue,
bill.
Dennis.
George.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. No,
That's your
no,
segue into the
yeah, it's
Clarity
perfect,
Act.
Dennis. But let's tell what actually Coinbase did. Instead of took a position, they
yeah. Well,
actually
they withdrew.
pull their support for the bill,
Right,
and it stopped everything in its track.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we were supposed to have markup yesterday, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and so obviously timing is everything.
So
They
why don't we look at a couple of different things why they were pissed off about this particular bill? Because first of all, they didn't know what the bill looked like until about 48 hours
Right,
before markup, because they don't evidently they don't release the bill. They have a few minutes basically to be able to take a look at it, and Coinbase, I guess, reviewed it and said, we don't like this. It's just
right.
Yep.
very invasive. But
I
Paul, you
can't
want to,
believe their lobbyists weren't on, like, in the room and able to see that.
They
Uh,
were. So the Blockchain
yeah.
Association, which is intimately involved in this whole process,
Right.
released a red line version of it, which they distributed to the members of the Blockchain Association the day before on
hmm,
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then it was based on that, my understanding is that Armstrong had his team take a look at it and realized it wasn't aligned with what they were trying to advocate for.
I think it's good that he took a stand and said, not good enough. We'd rather have nothing than a shitty bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, basically strips the power of crypto, and what we're all fighting for, and just makes it part of the system again. And
so
then
Can we have
obviously,
JR on the call and shoot, I'm not going to be on a couple of weeks so he can give us the lowdown.
who's this? Of
JR.
JR? We could, yeah, as it develops a little bit. I haven't texted him yet, but yeah, I've been thinking about asking him to join us. Yeah. Um, Paul, do you want to? I know we talked, in a higher level, but do you want to talk about a couple of specific things that they don't like or that are onerous that you've seen while you've been looking at this Clarity Act? You want to dive into maybe the KYC part or the tokenization part or any of those that you might want to speak about?
Yeah, I mean the key points of contention. So yeah, the markup was scheduled for yesterday and it got punted. I think that there's something happening on the 27th with the Senate Agriculture Committee. They're going to be marking up their portion on it. So this is kind of independent of the banking side, but really, the key points were around stablecoin treatment.
Yes. Let's dive into that a little bit, if you would. If it's
Well, my
Tokenization.
understanding is that
it's on the
the
Genius
Senate,
Act stablecoin.
yeah, the draft would allow activity-based stablecoin rewards like incentives. But the biggest piece in all this is that we know that the banks are making a killing off of paying us nothing on our deposits and then making money off the spread. I mean, JP Morgan just made 25 billion in their last quarter off of, net interest margin. So that's money that they're making off of, just off of that spread.
Can
So of
I
course they don't want to pay anything about it.
can I just
And
add a little bit to that, a little meat to that, Paul? I'm sorry to interrupt, but yes, the banks take in about, this is the U.S. banks, take in about 600 to about 5 to 600 billion dollars in deposits. Their interest on that is 1 to 1.5 trillion dollars. It's and that, but anyway, anyway, I just wanted to add a little bit of depth to that in terms of how dynamic they they make a lot of money with their deposits. And
The basic.
the Clarity Act, and not Clarity, but the Genius Act did not allow stable coins to, what did they
for
not
yield.
allow them
Be
to do? To have
tokenized.
an
yeah.
interest, to have a earn interest, put it that way.
Well, I
Sorry.
think not to interrupt myself, but I think Bank of America's ex post yesterday, is very telling. The Bank of America CEO just posted in the chat that we posted, warns that up to $6 trillion in assets could shift to stable coins if allowed to
Yeah.
pay interest. Poor banks is all I've got to say. I mean, this is not one of those things that any consumer is going to go, cry to the bank and say, "Oh, please, we don't want you to do that." Not by any
Mm-hmm.
means. And I mean, I think this is really, the opportunity for the public, to really become much more self-aware. The dirty little secrets of the banks are being revealed, and obviously, if you like big banks, you're probably not a crypto enthusiast.
Yeah.
So
All right,
I
Paul, you want to continue on a little bit? I'm trying to keep this thing at about, my usual 45 minutes. We got about 10 minutes left. So fire away, Paul. If you
Well,
want
okay, all right. So the main sticking points, the stable coins we just touched on, DeFi and developer protections. So they wanted
right.
DeFi really treated as software code. There's a lot of ambiguity around that. They don't have, and then asset classification.
Okay.
how different digital assets are regulated. So there's still this, they still don't know whether this is going to fall under the SEC or the CFTC.
Right.
Um, and it was enough for Brian Armstrong to say, nope, we're pulling our support. And they really don't know when they're going to, reconvene on it outside of the 27th, which is the Senate Ag Committee. I think that they're already starting talks about it right now. But what I found interesting is that I thought that this was all going to go through with the Genius Act because the House passed their portion of the Clarity Act back in last summer.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked that it took this long, but I mean nothing with our government moves fast. And so I think the next marker right now is the 27th. And I think that we're all looking for someone compare this to really a lawsuit settlement, right? A good deal is where nobody ultimately gets where they want. I think we all feel like we need a shower afterwards. So
That's well put.
yeah,
With
so stablecoin rewards,
showers,
DeFi,
so
and really asset classification. And of course, I think we all need to fight for self-custody. Um, that's good.
yes.
That's certainly a big sticking point. Self-custody and DeFi. That's where I would, put my flag down on.
Mhm.
Okay. So I
Mm.
think one thing I picked up was that the SEC would have a superior position in the crypto market than CFTC. And we know that SEC looks at securities and CFTC's commodities. I'd like to see all crypto as commodities, but nevertheless, there's a fine line there. But also, I got some impression that SEC could block the tokenization of equities, which would kill the real world asset market, which sort of scares me. And then this software developers, um, we've always talked about code is speech, is free speech. And I'm think the Clarity Act kind of muddles that water in terms of is software and is code free speech. And I think uh, they want those software developers to uh, be in the same guardrails as an exchange, where the exchange has to have AML um, criteria. When you set up an account with Coinbase, for instance, you have to provide all your specific information that, you know what I'm talking about. So the specific information to set up an account. So
Why
they
do we
want
care
the
about that?
software, huh?
I don't understand why we care about that. Or is that just a technician's problem? Does that affect us?
Well, I could jump in
Sure,
here.
as a
Yeah.
developer, sure.
Code isn't necessarily uniform across the board. And so the question is the code built in a way that enables the developer team itself to provide some of the activities that otherwise would be subject to regulation? So, for example, does the code effectively allow the developer team to custody assets or help facilitate moving payments through their particular system
Mm,
compared to having various services that are regulated integrated into the code service, such as, for example, a custodial provider, those services integrated into the code so that the infrastructure is built around integration with various regulated parties versus the code and the developers themselves providing those services. It's a
Hmm.
very nuanced area.
Yes.
And Rita, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was the Samurai case where, it was cited, that malicious intent, in the code, is certainly a defining action. I mean, that I believe that came up in that that CoinJoin
Yes,
case, that
yes,
if you don't do anything, then you got a problem. But
right.
to counter that, Senator Wyden and Lummis filed and introduced the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act, and that's designed to protect blockchain developers, from money transmitter requirements. So, that I think that was the counterpunch, to some of the language that was anticipated in the Clarity Bill markup, or not markup, but the current version. So
Yes, and that goes also to the heart of these cases involving mixers,
yes,
uh, and the argument by the code developers of those types of platforms that the code is not the code is agnostic. So how the service is used is should not be subject to regulation by
And those guys
uh,
got, was it Tornado Cash where they were
yes,
arrested?
yes, Tornado Cash,
yes,
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yes.
they were
and that.
arrested, but they just wrote the code. So anyway,
Mm.
so
Yeah, there's more to that, George. They didn't just write the code. There are other
okay.
mixers that no
Yeah,
one's
that's
gone after. So
yeah.
there might be some technical issues around how they wrote the code and why they got
And
targeted when
what?
there's a dozen other mixers that never got touched. That might tell you something about what they were up to. They're not the good guys. So that'll just tell you they're not the good guys.
Well, I think the point
Well,
is that if you're writing code, it sounds like you are subject to people's usage, and therefore you're responsible because you wrote it so they could use it in a
No,
nefarious way.
this is the gun manufacturer's argument all over again. It's the identical argument. Are gun manufacturers responsible for people shooting people? The answer is no. It's still no. It's always been no. It's always going to be no. I wouldn't worry about it. It's really not an issue. There are zero technical people that are talking about this. Actually, zero. The only people that are talking about this happen to be technical, but also up to bad things. That might be a hint as to what's going on. Nobody in the tech world cares about this
All
issue
right.
because there are mixers out there. No one's even
Sure.
tried to go after them ever. No one cares about mixers. They care
Well,
about other things that maybe they're not articulating clearly. The Tornado Cash guys were not good guys. They just absolutely were not. And if you mix your code in with your personal profit, that's a whole different issue. If what you're doing is mixing coins and you make a flat rate or a flat fee or a flat percentage, that's fine. But if you're mixing coins and you're, extorting different people for different amounts based on where their money came from, you're involved in a criminal enterprise, period. Like this isn't that hard
again,
because you have
that gets
extra knowledge.
yeah. I think that gets back to the intent issue.
Yeah.
That's really what we're talking.
Well, it's a usage issue though, Dennis. It's something you
Sure.
can actually measure. You can measure, hey, why are they charging, these thugs in Venezuela with drug money, extra money to launder their money? Because they're not going after all the money launderers. They're only going after those money launderers. That's the issue. It's not a larger issue at all.
all right. Well, the Clarity Act is a large issue, and I'm just curious if anybody on this call really cares whether what comes out of Congress, we'll just deal with it, or do we actually feel like we need to say something to somebody, some interest group, or stand with crypto? Uh, and the top two criteria, I think, not criteria, but the top two issues would be protecting rewards and hands off our financial freedom. And I think those are kind of the two things that, if you're going to highlight um, an issue with the Clarity Act, those are in jeopardy. And so, do you care? I mean, the government already knows everything about you. If you deal in the DeFi world, do you care whether they continue to know everything you do with all your money and all your transactions? Is it just
We have a right to
don't
privacy.
care?
under the Constitution. We have a right to privacy and a right, for peer-to-peer transfers and to do business, without being surveilled.
Yeah.
So it really gets down to a constitutional issue. I mean, are we willing to fight for it really?
Exactly.
And call your senators, call, tell your
You-
friends to call your senators, obviously,
Yeah.
and put your opinion out there, because, that is the one thing that this industry does have is a citizen lobby, and Stand
Yeah.
with Crypto has been very effective in building that. They
Blockchain's big time too. Go ahead, Dennis. I'm sorry.
right. I mean, so
There's a
this
number
is
of them.
this is this is part of the fight that we're in. I mean, obviously, we're in a fight to control our own data. We're in a fight, to be able to transact, without, obviously being scrutinized for everything, or just show me the person, I'll show you the crime. So that's part of the Communist Manifesto, right? So we've delved
Well,
into this. Obviously, we've allowed so much, so many freedoms to be lost. The beginning, with the Patriot Act, and all the information they gobble up. I mean, we probably, I mean, we're in this period of time where we can make a change. Okay, and it's going to be, we probably have 2 to 3 years for this, all gets worked out, and and once it's done, it's done. So if we're going to stand up for your individual rights, you're going to stand up for individual freedoms, try to claw some of this back. Then now is the time to to weigh in on this. I mean, if you believe that the government is your friend and is going to take care of you, I mean, that is another, ethos in its own right, but that's
they
not an
won't.
entrepreneurial spirit.
Okay.
Well,
Anybody
I
else
think
want to chime
one
in?
of
Because
the
we're gonna wrap it up.
one of the main points, and maybe this is more about stable coins, is being able to move our money without having a third party telling us when to do it, or how many days we have to wait if it's a large amount of money, or
Yeah.
they have
Right.
to sign off on it. I think that's one of the most
That's
important points.
Oh,
that's DeFi. That's peer to peer, right?
right.
Yeah.
That's removing the intermediary. That's just going, hey, I want to send this person money, and here's the QR code, and the money transfers in seconds versus days.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the Minnesota investigation is telling us that you can move large sums of cash. All you have to do is fill out a form. If you're over $10,000, you can move $1 million worth of cash in your suitcase very easily.
That's right.
Yep.
Right? And so,
They're not going to look at it at the airport, so just bring it on.
Yeah.
it's
So, hey George,
amazing what's
if we
going on.
got a little bit of extra time, two things that came up during the call that I wanted to just bring extra attention to.
Sure.
So we were talking about the power issue. I don't know if anybody caught this, but Trump is directing the grid operators to hold an emergency auction to basically get hyperscalers to pay for their own energy.
Mm.
That came out yesterday. I caught it. It was a Bloomberg article. And then relating to the
Yes.
price of silver, I don't know if anybody caught this in December, but JP Morgan actually moved their metals trading desk to Singapore, so to Asia. And
Why?
I think we've all heard about the export controls around silver from China, right? We, as the U.S., has also designated it as a critical mineral. Shanghai actually has a price for spot silver as well, and that price right now, I'm looking at the screen, is over $100 per ounce.
Wow.
So I think until those two, kind of level off, it's an immediate arbitrage opportunity. So China's saying, West, we're calling your bluff. We need the silver. Here's what we're willing to pay for it. And so
The other
yeah,
interesting
Yeah.
thing I saw yesterday in the Post, haven't had a chance to research it, was that, behind the scenes with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they have tremendous cash reserves, and there appears to be an effort, through Trump to actually purchase mortgage-backed securities back. So the impact of that could be lower interest rates without without the Fed intervention. So
I don't know
Okay.
about that. The Fed just stopped doing that in December. They said we're not going to buy mortgage-backed securities. So
No,
they've
they
been
what
doing it.
they did was they stopped unwinding their portfolio. So it was
right.
QT. So they weren't buying, they were selling. They were unwinding what they bought. So the November was effectively the end of the liquidity cycle because they kind of unwound. So now it's a matter of, well, what curveball are they going to throw us now? Because I don't know what the exact figures. I want to say it's like 8 trillion in debt that needs to get refinanced this year, and they
Yeah.
will probably do something to bring interest rates down. The last time they had to do that, well, COVID happened.
Well, okay, let me
And
just say, to create liquidity, they said we're no longer purchasing mortgage-backed securities. We're only going to buy treasuries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well, why don't we
considering Freddie Mac and FHA are the primary guarantors of those loans, for them to buy those back, maybe a way for them to mitigate, what I mean, behind the scenes, I've heard there are a lot more defaults than we think there are, and they do threaten banks. So, let's see. I'm just pulling this up right now. I can't find what I'm looking for right now, but that's a subject for perhaps next week, George.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
George,
let's just
next
wrap it up. And I'm sorry, Patty, go ahead.
next 2 weeks, I have to go to ribbon cutting ceremony, so I won't be
Okay.
able to do a
So
market
you're
report.
not going to do
Oh,
have a new market
congratulations.
report. We'll get somebody to do it. And
Okay.
anybody else want to chime in? You want to
Um,
start Let's Writing Stand with Crypto?
yeah, well, real quickly, we had a long meeting yesterday with Attorney General Wilson, and and I'm very encouraged, if he wins the gubernatorial race, that we can see really a transformative effort at the top level of state government to really embrace, this industry and understand, a lot of the nuances of it. So, a lot of interesting things going behind the scenes. Had conversations yesterday with Chairman Smith, Mark Smith, on our Dow bill. Also, the chairman of the LCI subcommittee handling S-163. They're very encouraged, on and excited really to learn more. And I think we can. I think we're looking forward to getting 163 through pretty quickly.
Good.
This session, certainly by the end of session. UCC Article 12 is stalled still in the law school, sitting with their UCC committee. We're going to try to give that a little push here with an introduction I'm working on, and that those are really the three bills that I'd like to see moving as quickly as possible.
Okay.
With 163 being what we expect to be the what can be enacted. The interesting thing about the Dow bill is that we're getting, we were able to make the case, for expanding it, and understanding, that obviously as a area for registering a business, the iterations of the Dow bill, the Wyoming Dow bill, that expanded into their Uniform Nonprofit Association bill, and then also with the earlier, really, I would say, kind of Genesis Act, out of Colorado with their cooperative nonprofit act. We have the opportunity to really leapfrog into this space, and by understanding those entities, understanding the importance of them for open source projects and for blockchain governance for large groups, and really, craft a bill, that, really, instead of the state telling you what they will approve, giving the entity or the business the opportunity to pick one out of three.
Yeah.
So whether you're an LLC, whether
Okay.
you're a nonprofit, or whether you're a
All right.
co-op, that's where
Yeah.
we'd like to see this go.
Yeah, that's a bit of a nuanced discussion there, Dennis, but it's you got your finger on three pulses that are going to be very active in the House and the Senate. So that's a lot to take under your wings, but you seem to be able to manage it pretty well. Every time you
We're
come to
getting there.
Columbia, you're on the
Yep.
move.
With
Dennis,
Patty's help and
All
with
right.
Patty's
Anybody
help and a
else
few
want to
others, with
chime
the grace of
in?
God, we're getting there, you know.
There you
So
go. All right. Well, let's
Dennis,
wrap it up. Yeah.
Dennis, did you wanna like put out like some bullets or one of your like infographics that call
We
up
can
Graham, call up Tim Scott, and this is what
call
we should
Stanley
be asking
Crypto,
for?
tell them
Yeah.
keep up the good fight. I don't,
yeah,
whatever.
that's
Let's do that.
yeah, go to the Liberty and Tech site on if I can find it real quickly, I'll post it. But we posted that. Oh,
That's a Telegram channel, isn't it?
no, that's the X post, and let me find it real quickly, and we
Oh,
can
okay.
post it
Go to
real quick.
Liberty and Tech on X,
Right,
not
and
on the web. I mean,
right, not on Telegram,
not on
right,
the
right,
website. Okay.
and we did get our Dow op-ed
Well,
published as well this
put
past
it up
week,
there and
and
let's we'll visit it on the X and we'll send it to we'll push it. Yeah.
here we go. It's in the chat here.
Anybody
Bear
Hey,
with me.
I don't know if
anybody
anybody
do
caught
that?
this, but
Right now. There you go.
does everybody remember Katie Arrington?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Ran for Congress. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
Low country.
she's the Chief Information Security Officer for IonQ.
What is
I
Ion
caught
Q?
it's a quantum company.
Okay.
It's one of the kind of like four that's in the quantum space.
Huh.
Rigetti, IonQ, yeah. So she
All
just
right.
announced that. I caught that.
Interesting.
I
All
didn't
right.
realize
Well,
she
Not
lived in
from her
a lot
Somerville.
government
going on. We'll
position.
see what happens next week. We'll keep abreast of the Clarity Act. I think this is going to be a hot topic for us to be able to discuss over the next week or two. We'll try and get JR on. And why don't we just I don't know who you're pulling for the National Football College Championship, but it's on Monday night. And I hope y'all have a great weekend.
All right, I'll see you.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank y'all.
George.
Everybody cool?
Have a great weekend.
Thank
Hey, real
you.
quickly, Mark's
Yeah.
gone.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I wanted to just let Mark know I found that publication for him, but
Oh
I'll
yeah, he
shoot him a note.
knows. He knows.
Okay, great.
I talked to
Very
him.
good.
Thank you.
Okay.